The Yoginis are believed to possess supernatural powers, shape-shifting, controlling the elements, and summoning spirits. Some say they are protectors, others call them vengeful spirits. But one thing is clear, those who encounter them are never the same. Welcome, my curious souls, to another episode of Mrs. Strange. Today we are diving into the mystical world of Yoginis. These enigmatic goddesses hold a significant place in Hindu and Tantric traditions. Their stories are shrouded in mystery and power. Join me as we unravel the secrets of these ancient beings. First, let's delve into the origins and myths of the Yoginis. Historically, Yoginis are believed to be powerful female deities associated with Tantra. They're often connected with the 64 Yoginis, representing a multitude of divine forms. According to mythology, these goddesses possess incredible powers, including shape-shifting and bestowing supernatural abilities to their followers. Legend has it that the Yoginis were once human women who, through rigorous spiritual practices, achieved this divine status. Their transformation into goddesses is a tale of devotion and mystical rituals. Yoginis play a crucial role in both Hindu and Tantric traditions. In Hinduism, they are revered as manifestations of the great goddess Shakti, embodying divine feminine energy. Tantric practices often involve invoking Yoginis for the spiritual guidance and blessings. Temples dedicated to the 64 Yoginis are scattered across India, where rituals and ceremonies celebrate their power and wisdom. These sacred spaces are believed to be portals to higher spiritual realms. Now let's explore the symbolism and representations of Yoginis. Each Yogini is depicted with unique attributes and symbols. Common symbols include the crescent moon, trident, and various animals. These symbols are not just decorative, they convey deep spiritual meanings and the diverse powers of the Yoginis. The crescent moon symbolizes their connection to the divine feminine, while trident represents their ability to conquer evil. In modern times, Yoginis continue to inspire spiritual movement and practices. They're seen as symbols of empowerment and the sacred feminine. Yoga and meditation practices often draw upon the wisdom and energy of the Yoginis. So, in some traditions, especially those tied to darker occult practices, certain rituals are believed to invoke, summon, or even gain the favor of a Yogini. However, these rituals are considered dangerous and spiritually potent, requiring intense discipline, deep knowledge of Tantra, and often involves elements like mantras, offerings, and invocations. Now I'm going to share some real encounters with Yoginis. In the village of Kalinjar, nestled near the ancient forest of the same name, Kalinjar is known for its ancient Yogini temples, believed to be a place of worship for these mystical beings. One stormy night, decades ago, a local man named Raghav claimed to have seen something terrifying. Raghav had been a skeptic, dismissing village superstitions as mere folklore, but that night, he was alone in his home when he heard a soft, melodic chanting. The wind howled, but the chanting grew louder. Curious, Raghav stepped out, braving the storm. What he saw would haunt him forever. Under the ancient banyan tree, illuminated by lightning, was a woman dressed in dark robes, her face obscured by her long, matted hair. She was dancing in a trance, her feet barely touching the ground. Raghav froze, realizing he had stumbled upon a Yogini performing her midnight rituals. As her chanting turned to whispers, Raghav's heart raced. Suddenly, she stopped, turning her face towards him. But where her eyes should have been, there was only darkness. They say Raghav was never the same after that night. He became reclusive, speaking only in hushed tones, warning others never to venture near the banyan tree after dark. In the dense forest of Odisha, another tale is told. A group of travelers was making their way through the jungle when they noticed a strange, glowing light in the distance. It was midnight, and despite their instincts, curiosity got the best of them. As they approached, they saw a woman sitting on a rock, surrounded by a circle of flames, her hand moving gracefully through the air, summoning the elements. Her face was serene, but her presence was overwhelming, like that of a deity. One of the men called out to her, asking if she needed help. She looked at them and smiled, a smile that sent shivers down their spines. But as they turned to flee, the forest itself seemed to come alive. Trees twisted and the path they had come from vanished. It was said that the travelers were found days later, wandering aimlessly, their minds broken, whispering of the Yoginis' power. The Yoginis are believed to possess supernatural powers, shape-shifting, controlling the elements, and summoning spirits. The Haunted Meditation Retreat. In the serene hills of Himachal Pradesh, a group of spiritual seekers gathered for a meditation retreat. Among them was a woman named Anjali, who had heard tales of Yoginis and their mystical powers. One night, as she meditated alone in the forest, she felt an overwhelming presence. Opening her eyes, she saw a figure cloaked in shadows with the eyes that seemed to pierce through her soul. The figure whispered ancient chants, and Anjali felt a surge of energy. Terrified, yet mesmerized, she couldn't move. The Yogini, angered by the intrusion, cursed her with vision of her deepest fears. For the rest of the retreat, Anjali was haunted by nightmares and eerie whispers. She left the retreat early, vowing never to meddle with forces beyond her understanding. The Cursed Temple. In a remote village of Odisha, there stood an ancient temple dedicated to the 64 Yoginis. Locals believed that the temple was cursed, and only the bravest dared to enter. A young man named Vikram, curious and skeptical, decided to explore the temple one night. Armed with a flashlight and a camera, he ventured inside. As he walked through the temple, he felt a sudden drop in temperature. His flashlight flickered and he heard faint chanting. Turning a corner, he saw a group of shadowy figures performing a ritual. One of the figures turned towards him, revealing a face with glowing eyes. Vikram's camera captured the moments before he blacked out. He was found the next morning unconscious and muttering incoherently. The villagers claimed he had been cursed by the Yoginis for his intrusion. Vikram never fully recovered, and the temple remained a place of fear and mystery. The Forbidden Cave. In the dense forest of Madhya Pradesh, there was a cave believed to be a portal to the spirit world. A monk named Arjun, seeking enlightenment, decided to meditate in the cave. For weeks, he chanted and performed rituals, hoping to summon a yogini. One night, he felt a powerful presence and saw a beautiful yet terrifying figure. The yogini warned him to leave, but Arjun persisted. Enraged, she cursed him with eternal madness. Arjun was found wandering the forest, muttering about the yogini and the cave. The cave was sealed, and locals believed it remained haunted by the yogini's spirit. The Possessed Ritualist. In spiritual town of Varanasi, a young man named Keshav was deeply involved in Tantric practices. He longed to gain control over a yogini to achieve higher powers. Every night, he performed complex rituals and meditations in a secluded part of his home. One night, as the full moon shone brightly, he felt an overwhelming presence. Suddenly, a fierce wind blew through the room, extinguishing all his candles. Keshav saw a shadowy figure with piercing red eyes staring at him. The yogini, angered by his audacity, possessed him. From that night on, Keshav exhibited strange behavior, speaking in tongues, and performing bizarre actions. His family, terrified, sought help from spiritual leaders. It took months of exorcism and rituals to free Keshav from the yogini's grip. The experience left him a changed man, warning others about the dangers of meddling with such powerful beings. The Forbidden Forest. In the dense forest of Kerala, a group of friends decided to explore the legend of the Yoginis. They ventured deep into the forest, where it was believed that the Yoginis performed their rituals. As night fell, the forest grew eerily silent. The group set up a small camp and began meditating, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mystical beings. Around midnight, they heard soft chanting and saw faint lights in the distance. Curiosity overtook caution, and they approached the source. They stumbled upon a circle of Yoginis performing a ritual, and the air was thick with energy, and the friends felt an intense pressure in their chests. One of them tried to take a photo, but his camera malfunctioned, and the Yoginis vanished in a flash of light. Terrified, the friends fled the forest, but the experience haunted them. They reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing whispers in the night. The forest, they believed, was a realm of the Yoginis, and their intrusion had brought a curse upon them. I personally have never tried to summon a yogini, and I never freaking will, but my parents did, and They have a really intense story. So if you guys are interested, I can do a video in interview format of my father telling me the experience. My dad, he's a teacher, and he will be able to explain things in very much detail and in an interesting way, in my opinion. But I will only share that if you guys are interested. So if you are, comment below and I will share that with you guys. I will literally ring him up and bring him into my studio and we're gonna have a chat. They have told me this story at least 3 or 4 times, and every time I get really terrified. You don't understand what you're dealing with. They didn't understand what they were dealing with, and I'm so glad they kind of gave up the ritual and didn't go the entire way. They still experience a lot of paranormal activity. It was really freaky. I went over to their old house, which they did that in. Everything was so off. Like I used to love that home and felt really creepy during that time, but after they kind of like said that they want them to go away and they actually did go away, that's when everything kind of went back to normal. So essentially they opened a portal in their old house for a temporary amount of time, and it was terrifying. I'm literally getting goosebumps. But yeah, that is my video about yoginis. If you guys are interested in any other topic that is spooky or creepy, please let me know. I need some ideas and I would love to explore it for you guys and tell you some creepy stories. So the next time you find yourself wandering through the forest or near ancient temples at night, be aware, for the yoginis may be watching, and once they appear, there's no escape. If you like terrifying tales, make sure to stick around, subscribe, like, and comment below your favorite part, and I will see you guys next time.